Chad Hasty Show, News Talk KFYO. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Joining us in studio, the latest candidate making not only running for the 140th District Court, but just another candidate joining the Chad Hasty Show, Douglas Freitag, in studio today. Douglas, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Hasty. I'm great. I appreciate you having me on this morning. Thank you for taking the time to let me reach out to you and reach out to your listeners this morning.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you on here. Tell folks a little bit about yourself and why you decided to join into this race for the 140th District Court.
Absolutely. I'll start with a little bit about myself first and foremost. I'm a believer. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. Those are my priorities in life as far as things go. That's what's fueling me as far as we go through this campaign and seek election to the 140th District Court. Made the decision to get in. Came about after visiting with my wife one night there in the kitchen after the kids were in bed. We were talking about just different things. She used to work down at the courthouse. I used to work at the courthouse. We were talking about this particular court in particular. And she looked at me and she said, "You know what? I think this is what you're supposed to do. I think you're supposed to run." And I said, "Wait a minute now. You understand what that's going to do to our family, what that's going to do as far as me being out of the house? We've got 3 boys. They're 11, 10, and 8. We're involved in youth sports all year long." I said, "You know, that's going to put me missing some basketball games and a lot of baseball practices just based on the time of the year and stuff." And she said, "Yeah, no, I really think it's what you're supposed to do." So I set out the next day thinking on it, praying about it, reached out to spiritual advisors on it, stuff along those lines, and everybody that I talked to basically said, gave me confirmation of what my wife had said. So I went back home that night and visited with her some more. We've been married, it'll be 18 years in April. It took me probably 17 of those to learn to listen to her when she says something like that and realize just what great discernment she has. But after doing that, we said, okay, we're going to do this. So we started figuring out what it took to actually file with the Ethics Commission as far as that was concerned, and then file with the party and all of those things. And so here we find ourselves a couple of months later.
Yeah. Talk about your professional resume and why what qualifications you would bring to the 140th District Court.
Yes, sir. I've been licensed as an attorney here in the state of Texas for 19 years now. About 12 of that was done as a prosecutor in various DA's offices trying either misdemeanors or felony cases. That started here in Lubbock County, but my path has taken me down to San Antonio, where I prosecuted for a little less than 2 years. Brought me back to Lubbock to do that again, and then several years ago I went over to the 286th District Court, which is Hockley and Cochran counties, Levelland and Morton, and worked over there. The other time that I've been licensed where I've not been working for a DA's office has been in the areas, has been all private practice. That's all been in the areas of criminal defense, family law, business law. Of course, we'll take an adoption anytime we can get one. Those are the happiest things we get to do, obviously, under the law.
Right.
And then some estate and probate work. I'm the one candidate in this race that can sit here or stand up and say I've worked both in the criminal side as a prosecutor and as a defense lawyer. In addition to that, my career's taken me to mediation training, so resolving disputes outside the courtroom through mediation, and I've sat as an arbitrator, which is essentially where both sides bring you their case and tell you what's going on, and you look at it and then go, okay, here's my interpretation under the law, applying the law to those facts as to what should happen in this thing.
For those who would ask you your judicial philosophy, what would you say about that?
Yeah. Judicial philosophy is pretty simple. The law should apply equally to everybody, but each case, the facts are going to be different. And so we've got to judge all those things independently. One of the questions that I get a lot, and I like this question, is people go, okay, where do you stand as far as the Constitution goes? Judge Scalia is out there having been quoted saying the Constitution is dead, dead, dead. Other people go, well, the Constitution's alive. Which is it? And the answer is yes. As far as, is it a living, breathing document? It is, but it's not a document that's changing. The words on the paper say what they say. They don't say anything more. They don't say anything less. Nothing gets changed on it unless we have a constitutional amendment of some sort. So it says what it says. We're not to try to take it and maneuver or massage it to fit things the way we might personally want to see them go. But it's very much alive. So in that way it's dead, but it's very much alive in that it's the foundation of our country. And the day we say the Constitution is dead and we don't continue to have our republic based upon it, that's the day our republic dies.
When it comes to partisan elections for judges, what are your thoughts on that? Do you like them? Do you not like them? I know this is it's a deal where Texas is one of 6 states that select judges the way we do. What do you think about it?
There's pros and cons both to it. Obviously, we want to be sure that we have people that are qualified. We want to be sure that we have people that we know where they stand on certain issues as best as we can. Sure. Obviously, as a judicial candidate, there's certain things it's not appropriate for me to talk about. It's not appropriate to tell what my personal feelings are because I don't know what's ever going to come in front of me. I don't need to disqualify myself from a bunch of stuff right up front. But to get more to your question, at the end of the day, should it matter if somebody's got an R or a D beside their name? I don't know that it should. I do know what should matter is, what is that person's values? What are their beliefs? Where do they stand on things? What is their history like? What can you look at as far as those go? I know there have been some proposals to do away with partisan elections as far as the judiciary goes. Are we headed there? Maybe eventually. Do I think we're headed there very fast? No, not at all. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if I'm elected and somebody comes into my courtroom, I'm going to apply the law equally. It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter what their political views are. Sure. When they're in front of a judge. So
yeah. Tell folks where they can find out more information about you and your campaign.
Absolutely. We're on Facebook. It's Douglas Freitag for Judge. And for those of you that are wondering how to spell Freitag, because everybody goes, how do you spell that? And yes, I know I'm not using the traditional German pronunciation. That's another story for another time. But we spell it Freitag. That's E-I, just like the song. We all learned it when we were kids. E-I, E-I-O. So Freitag. It's Douglas Freitag for Judge on Facebook. On the internet, you can find our website at www.freitag, the word for, F-O-R, judge.com.
All right. Very well. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And I look forward to some of the folks that are calling in to continue the discussion you've been having on folks showing up at the airport with their weapons.
There you go. Appreciate you listening and joining us today. We'll get you in before the election goes on for another interview.
Sounds great.
All right. Chad Hasty Show, KFYO.